Hi, hi everyone. Welcome back. I'm glad you guys are hopefully back here with us today. That hopefully not everyone is having too many technical issues with the computer, and I hope these recordings are working for you guys. I apologize I'm not able to be here live with you, but I am alternating live classes. So if I wasn't live with you this week, then I'll be live with you guys next week. Okay. All right, so today the topic, what I want to talk about, we're going to talk about a little bit more about grief, but we're going to talk about healing, the healing process a little bit more. We're going to do a little bit of an activity that doesn't necessarily need to, it's something that you can do on your own. So we may, this recording may be a little shorter than some of the other ones so that you guys can have some time to work on the activity. I'd like to start with a mindfulness exercise, and before you get too upset, before you get to start rolling your eyes and saying, oh, those are mindfulness exercises are so boring, it's going to be different today. So today we're going to practice a mindful eating exercise. So what I want you guys to do is go into, I hope you guys are all at home or somewhere where you can go grab a snack. If you have a snack in your room, you're probably like me, and just pick up a snack. Maybe you're already eating a snack, perfect. But if you don't have any snacks around you or something to eat, don't make a full meal. Let me give you guys a couple of minutes to run to the kitchen or run and just grab something to eat. Anything. So it can just something small. Don't have your mom make or someone make you a sandwich or anything. Just grab a bag of chips, a piece of fruit, a piece of candy, just something small that you can grab. So let me give you a minute to go do that. I'll give it a minute or so. So I have something here. I have a piece of chocolate. This is what I'm going to use for this exercise. So hopefully everyone is running to go get their snack. If you're on a little tablet, maybe you took your tablet with you, but it's okay if you didn't. So just something small. It doesn't have to be your favorite food. It can be, I like to use candy, but it can be a piece of fruit or something. Okay, let me give it 30 more seconds. So I hope that you guys at least are thinking about maybe incorporating these exercises into your self-care practice. In the like the lesson plan for the week, I think under homework it says either do a mindfulness exercise or a journaling exercise. Yesterday we talked about journaling and the benefits of journaling, how it helps to process your feelings. And so I hope that you guys are trying that at least every other day. If you're doing it every day, awesome. Okay, so hopefully everybody's back. All right, we're gonna practice mindful eating. So this is just going to be kind of like a demonstration. We're just going to practice. You can do this the next time you sit down for a meal and do it the whole time. Now, if you eat with your family, it might be kind of distracting because maybe you won't be paying attention to them. But the next time you eat by yourself, like if you make yourself a meal and you eat. Now, you cannot practice mindful eating and watch TV at the same time. And how many of us eat and watch TV at the same time? Me. How many of us eat and look at our phone the whole time? Me. You won't be able to practice that. So you'll need to turn everything off, sit in a quiet space, kind of like we do when we practice our breathing exercises. So, okay, here we go. Whatever it is that you got, I want you to look at, just look at it. So looking at it, And don't open it. If it has a wrapper, it doesn't have to have a wrapper. Let's say you've got a grape or an apple or chip. If you got a bag of chips or something, don't open it yet. So just feel it. So feel if it's in a package. What does the package feel like? What shape is it in? So for me, I have this package. It's kind of soft. The package is smooth. It's a smooth package. It has 4 corners. On the edges, there's some, I'm noticing some like ruffles or some like ridges that's kind of rough. So what about for you guys? Don't worry about type, don't worry about, I just want you to pay attention to it, to the outside of whatever it is. If you have a piece of fruit, what is like the skin like? Is it rough? Is it soft? I'm trying to think of what else you guys might have gotten. A bag of chips. I think maybe some people got some chips. So what do you notice about the outside? Now, I want you guys to smell it, whatever it is. Can you smell it through the package? I'm gonna open mine because I cannot. So if you have a bag of chips and it's not open, go ahead and open it. Opening. Okay, so here's my snack. It smells sweet. I'm also looking at, now I'm gonna pay attention to the actual food, the food itself. So, well, I'm gonna get my hands dirty, but, so there's some letters on it. What about yours? What does your snack look like? Does it have a skin on it? Is it smooth? Is it rough? Is there letters? Mine has letters on it. You guys probably don't have a snack with letters on it, but if it's like a chip, what color is it? So my chocolate it's chocolate and it's brown. Okay, smell it. Okay, now I want you guys to take a bite, but don't swallow it. Just put it in, just bite it and leave it in your mouth. And what do you notice immediately when you bite it? What do you notice that happens? Talking with my mouth full, excuse me. You're gonna notice probably your mouth waters. Don't swallow it yet. Maybe the food starts to come apart in your mouth. My chocolate's melting. Maybe you notice your mouth is probably watering because without you even thinking about it, your mouth's starting to break down the food. What does it taste like? Is it sweet? Is it sour? Is it spicy? Mine's really sweet. Don't swallow it yet. Is it something you like to eat? Do you want another bite of it already? Okay, go ahead and swallow it. That's my favorite chocolate. So it was really good. It was really good. And instead of just taking a bite, I'll wipe my hands. Instead of just taking a bite and chomping it down, you're taking some time to pay attention to the experience. So I hope you picked something that you liked. Like I hope you grabbed a snack that you like, because a lot of times, like I said, we eat kind of mindlessly, or we're watching TV, or we're on our phone, and we're not really paying attention to what we're eating. Sometimes that can lead to overeating because you don't realize how much you already had, and then you're full, but you're still eating because it's so good. So this can be a practice that you can do every now and then. Just say, you know what, I'm going to sit down with my food and I'm just going to enjoy it. Every part of it. I'm going to enjoy the smell. I'm going to enjoy how it looks, right? You have maybe your favorite food that your family member makes you, or you make yourself. You make it look, maybe if you're somebody who likes to make your food look really nice, and then smell it, take the smell in, really take a big whiff and enjoy the smell. As you put it in your mouth, take your time to chew it. Don't just scarf it down. Take your time enjoying the flavor of whatever it is that you're eating. And so eating is actually something that we do. Well, even since we're babies, it's a very calm, it's something that we do to calm ourselves down. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, how when you're going through, let's say you went through a breakup and you finding yourself wanting to eat candy all the time because it's sweet. We look for things that we like to eat, that we like to taste, that our favorite foods when we're feeling down or sad, because it helps us feel better. So, like I said, eating can be a very enjoyable experience, but a lot of times we don't pay a lot of attention to it. So try it. Maybe try it at least once a week. Maybe that can be your mindfulness exercise for the week. Okay. Today we're going to talk about healing, the healing process of grief. So yesterday we talked about the 5 stages of grief, just to review and recap. Denial, right? You don't believe it. Anger. We get upset when we lose something, or when we go through a loss. Bargaining. We'll do whatever it takes to get it back, to get things back to where they were. We do whatever we want to do. What we have a tendency, or we want to try to do whatever we can to get it back. The 4th stage is depression or sadness. Depending on how severe your loss is, you may become very, very sad. Or at least kind of sad. Let's say you dropped your favorite earring or something. For girls, you dropped it down the drain. That's really frustrating, right? And maybe you get really sad, but you can always buy another earring, right? And then the 5th stage of grief is the acceptance stage. So that's when you've moved through all of those challenging emotions, and now you are starting to accept your new reality of living without that thing, or living in your new reality of whatever your situation is. So the new reality of right now with how we're living, where we're not going places and we're having to wear masks and things like that. Okay. So there are 5 stages of grief, remember. So today, I want to talk about the healing process of grief. Nobody experiences grief in the same way, even somebody in your family. Let's say when a grandparent passes away, nobody experiences grief the same way. Also, you don't necessarily follow through those stages in order. Sometimes the bargaining stage comes first. I'll do whatever it takes to have my loved one back, or to have my boyfriend, girlfriend back. I'll do whatever it takes. It's different for everybody. But as I explained yesterday, those are the 5 common emotions that you experience when you're grieving something. Now, I talked a lot about physical loss. So physically losing someone, or, the loss of a pet or something. But loss and grief can come in other forms. How about the loss of a dream that you had? Let's say this might happen as you grow up. If you get really involved in a sport, maybe you play sports at school, some sport, and eventually eventually at the end of your education or at the end of your school, you won't have that, you don't play that sport anymore unless you go professional. And then you play, but even that, I know, and I have worked with student athletes who, when they get to college, maybe they either didn't make the team or it wasn't, you know, they just weren't able to play at the college level. That can be a significant loss for the person. It's almost a loss of identity of who they are. Maybe their whole life they were a basketball player or a baseball player, and then all of a sudden they're not that person anymore. So that's another way, and that's another way to think that maybe that, in other words, there is going to be something in your life inevitably that you're going to lose, and you're going to have to pass through these stages. And so we're going to talk a little bit how to deal with that. Before that, I do want to say that there's a couple of things for you to remember when you are when you're going through the stages of grief. The first thing is that you're not broken. So, or you're not wrong. Like, you're not sick. Sometimes grief can feel like physical illness, but it's important to remember that it is a natural process. And it's actually a good reminder that when you lose something, it's a reminder that we're alive. We were attached to something. We cared a lot about something. You're not a human person if you don't care about anything, right? We all have things that are more important to us than others. It might be hard for other people to understand why you're grieving, but that's not the important part. It's okay if other people, like, let's say you you lost your pet or something, your pet ran away. That, somebody might say, oh, just get another one or something, but it may be very devastating to you. And that's okay. Because you had a very high importance on whatever that thing was. So again, important to remember that you're not sick, you're not broken. It's just a process that you're going through. There is no, also, and I did just mention this, there's no like straight line through getting through grief. So I wish I could tell you, okay, you're always going to be in denial, and then you're always going to be angry, and then that's not necessarily the case. You can jump around. You can get stuck in stages of grief. You can some stages are more difficult to pass through than others. But what research shows is that as you acknowledge each stage and you get through it, there's an end to the emotion. So eventually you will feel better, even though at certain points you feel like you won't be the same, you'll never be the same. Maybe things won't be the same, but you will move past it and learn how to live, whether it's a new reality or without, in a different way. But it will become your normal, so to speak. And then lastly, the last thing to remember is you will have a relationship with grief for the rest of your life. So the way you guys deal with grief right now is different than you'll deal with it as you get older, or when you become an adult, as you become an adult. Think about babies, little babies. Like if their mom leaves, or their dad or their parent or grandparent, whoever cares for them, when they leave and the baby just starts crying, screaming and crying, that is the baby's only way to deal with what's going on. They're very, very sad that they're being left behind, poor things. And they cry and they scream and they cry. Well, all of us did that at some point. You can't say that you didn't. That's because that's what babies do, they cry. But as you get older, if you remember, as you got older, maybe you stopped crying. Maybe you still felt sad when you were left alone by yourself, but you didn't cry anymore. The way that you were dealing with that emotion, that sadness, is changing. Now, even as you are a little bit older, maybe you still feel sad, you still feel lonely when you're alone, but that emotion that you had as an infant or as a little baby is different. That's the same thing as you get older and as we attach ourselves to different things in our lives now, like relationships, boyfriends, girlfriends, schools. It's really hard moving. It's really hard or scary thinking if you can think back going from a middle school to a high school. And you really liked your high school and your middle school. And so you were really nervous about going to high school. You didn't know if you were going to like it. Why couldn't you just stay at the same campus? And so, but the way that you cope or you dealt with that was different. You didn't necessarily throw a tantrum. You worked through it in a different way. Okay, so remember that the process of grief is normal. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you when you're feeling all of those intense emotions. It may not be the same every time. When you lose something, you may grieve in a different style every time. And then lastly is that your grief and your ability to process grief will change over time as well. Okay. I would like to do an activity today. I hope I told you guys yesterday, I think I told you at the end of class, to have a sheet of paper, so a blank sheet of paper, and some colors. So I have some markers here. You can have colored pencils, maybe not paint for now, but if you want to use paint, you can use it. For now, I just want you to have like a pen or a pencil or a marker, something you can pick out. Okay, so go ahead and grab one. If you're on your bed, get a book or something that you could write on. And I want you to pick a color of whatever you have. If you don't have any colors, if you just have a pen or a pencil right now, that's okay. Just pick up your pen. So what I want you guys to do is I'm going to keep count, and I want you guys to close your eyes. Okay, so make sure you're in a safe place, okay? Make sure you're in your room or you're somewhere that if you feel safe closing your eyes and someone won't scare you or startle you if they walk in. Because what we're going to do is we're going to close our eyes, and for 1 minute, you are going to scribble on your paper. You're not going to try to draw anything specific. You're not going to try to put together some really fancy art. You're just going to scribble like you were when you were a little kid. Just scribble on the paper. I'm going to keep my eyes open because I'm going to time it, but I don't want you guys to open your eyes. Try not to cheat. There's no way I can really check on you guys, but keep your eyes closed. Just try it. We're going to go for 1 minute and you're going to scribble on your sheet. Ready? Okay, on your mark, get set, go. Eyes closed, and we're scribbling. Keep scribbling, keep scribbling. Keep scribbling. About 40 more seconds. Try not to scribble off your paper. Stay on the paper, but scribble. Just make a bunch of scribbles. Keep your eyes closed. Keep going. About 15 more seconds. And stop. Okay. So your sheet should look something, I did not scribble for 45 seconds because I was watching the timer, but your sheet should look something like this. Oh, you can't see it. Wait, let me get it really close. Do you see it? Okay. Do you see my scribbles? You can barely see them. I should have used black. Let me use black. It should look something like this, but a lot more scribbles, okay? All right, now, what I want you guys to do is, don't start yet because this is something that I'm gonna do. We're gonna cut the recording short, and I want you to finish this on your own. And I'm gonna ask you guys about it the next session, so make sure you finish it. It won't take very long. I want you to, from your scribbles, create an image. So create something from what you scribbled. Don't think about it too much. So don't try not to overthink, like, oh, I need it to be perfect, or, you know, I need to make sure my lines are correct. Just take it for what it is and make something out of it. Maybe it's a figure, maybe it's a scene, like a setting or a scene from, I don't want to put any ideas in your head because I want you guys to come up with something on your own. Maybe it's something that you're going through, you're dealing with right now, and maybe that pops into your head and then you put it onto your paper. You can use paint, you can use, again, you can use markers, anything that you have. And I want you to make something out of it. When you're done, so spend about, try to spend at least 15 minutes, at least 15 to 20 minutes on your drawing. Next week when I talk to you guys, I want to see what you guys did. I want you guys to show me what your paintings were, or your not your paintings, your drawings. If you don't have paint, that's fine. When you're done, there's a couple of things that I want you to ask. I want to know, and you can write it either on the back of your paper or like up in the corner. And I want you to tell me why you chose the colors that you chose. So I picked green. This is my favorite color, so. And I want you to tell me what you drew. Tell me a little bit about what you drew. You can write it on there. It can be a sentence or two, just about whatever your picture was about. Again, try not to put too much thought into it. This is more of just expression of your feelings. Okay, so it's not, you're not going to make a masterpiece, and it's not going to be graded. Nobody else is going to see it except for maybe us next week. The purpose of this is we can learn about ourselves a little bit. If you find yourself drawing a lot of heart shapes, or maybe you're in a point where you're feeling a lot of love, or you're feeling very loving at that moment. If you're putting a lot of, maybe you're putting like outdoor scenery, that's going to tell you, okay, that's where your mind is right now. That's where it's taking you. By closing your eyes and starting this and scribbling, it's giving you kind of unconscious start to art. So instead of just sitting down and say, okay, I'm going to draw a cross today or a heart or whatever. Starting with your eyes closed and put, starting your picture, your drawing with your eyes closed, it kind of just opens up the mind, and you have to kind of look at what you've done and, piece together, and it's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see what the first thing that pops out from your scribbles that you start to put together and make into a drawing. Okay. That was the course for today. We will recap on the process that you had next week on Wednesday. If you guys had any questions, or if you're too curious about what your drawing might mean, or you want to talk more about it, again, please feel free to email me, and I'll be happy to chat with you a little bit more, okay? Thanks for your attention today, guys, and for participating. We will see you next week. Have a good weekend.